Francesca, representing Team Velocity for the Masters Karate Tournament post show. How are you doing, Francesca?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to have you on the show after a slight hiatus on my part. For everybody watching, I just graduated college and I am doing a big move. So I'm excited to be doing this interview with Francesca. Okay, so this is for the Masters Karate Tournament. Post show, you recently turned 18 into the women's division, and I have you on here because you won your first Grands as an adult. So let's start off with how you performed and what you thought of your performance.
So honestly, it was a little bit nerve wracking on my behalf. I just had a good friend, Rashad. He sent me new music, and I really wanted to like unleash it for this tournament because I knew I had a good chance that I was going to go into grands. So the night before, I just stayed at the karate school for I think until like maybe 11 p.m. and I was just practicing with my new music. So when I went on stage and I killed it with the new music, it was one of the best feelings. It was great.
Definitely can relate to that. New music and hitting your form is like a feeling like no other. What was the song that you used?
So I won women's forms,
Mhm,
and I used "Pray for Me,"
mhm.
the song from Black Panther, which was super awesome, and the mix was great. It was perfect hype. Everybody was cheering. Everybody knew it, so it was great.
So this was a Florida tournament, and you're from Florida. Team Velocity is based, but not solely in Florida. Talk to me a little bit more about the supporters and the other people that you knew that were there.
So I love local tournaments or just state tournaments just because I'm also known as a competitor, but at the same time, a lot of teams know me as a judge or a scorekeeper. So, for example, the team Karate Omega, huge support from them. It was fantastic. I've known their team because I've judged their rings before. So it was like having a huge fan base as I was competing, and it helped. Also, Millennium Martial Arts, they were there, their team was there. It was great support. At Florida tournaments, everybody knows each other and there's that such great camaraderie between other people. So it was perfect.
You're also the head instructor at a premier school down in Florida as well. Did your students attend this event?
Yes. So I had my kids compete and they competed early in the morning. And I was so thankful that they ended up staying because I did compete at around 1 or 2 because that's when the adults were supposed to compete. And they stayed and waited. So it was really great to be able to bring home that win, not only for myself, but for my kids watching.
This was the eighth iteration of the Masters Karate Tournament hosted by Joe Anon and Manny Reyes. How many times have you been to this specific tournament?
I think this was actually one of my first local tournaments growing up as a color belt.
Oh,
I
wow.
believe I started in 2018, 2017, maybe. It was before, actually, if I remember correctly, in a basketball gym or like a school gym. So it was really great to see the progression of the tournament. Now it was at the same place where Pan American was. The venue was always beautiful. The temperature was right. So it was really good to see the change in the tournaments.
So, how did you get into martial arts?
It was funny. I actually started as a ballerina, and I actually got bullied a lot in
Mm.
ballet school because I was more tomboyish. I do have an older brother, and he reflected a lot on me. So I saw the show Kicking It. My origin story is so funny. I saw the show Kicking It. I thought it was super awesome. And the next thing you know, I pulled on my mom's shoulder and I was like, hey, I want to do karate. And we found Premier Martial Arts. And that's where it all started.
That's great. And now, in terms of competition, how did you find yourself in the ring?
I started competing locally. Funny enough, my first tournament was Pan American. I didn't know that it was part of a circuit, NASCA that wasn't introduced to me just yet. We
Mm.
just saw a local tournament, we saw Pan American, and we competed. And it was huge. The venue was humongous. There was lots of different teams from all over the world. And that's when my instructor, Master Jeff Assessor, he introduced us to the NASCA circuit. And once I hit black belt, he wanted me to start. And we took off and started, I believe, 2018, 2019 at AK.
Okay. And now you are recently on one of the newest additions to Team Velocity. Tell me a little bit more about how you got picked up.
Okay, so I was blessed enough to have Sensei Murphy reach out to me at AmeriKick, I believe I don't remember, maybe the 2021.
Mhm.
And he saw that I was placing well, and he messaged me and he was like, hey, if you keep it up, I might have to put a name on your back. And I was super excited because I'd been competing in NASCA since 2018, and competing without a name on your back is a little bit discouraging at times. You see all these people with, Paul Mitchell, AKA, all these big teams, and, it's a little discouraging because when you do have a name on your back, you do get a lot of more attention than other competitors that don't. So I continued training hard. I would send him progress videos. I would send him all of my awards and my winnings from that year, 2021. And at Starcade, which is Sensei Murphy's tournament, he pulled me off to the side. He had my uniform ready, and he said, "You deserve it." And I competed for the first time at Starcade under Team Velocity.
Nice. And you touched on an interesting point, is a name on your back in NASCA. That's a conversation that's been going on for decades, because for however long teams have been around. Tell me, have you seen firsthand, since you have transitioned from a blank back uniform now to Team Velocity, a nationally recognized team, do you feel like you're benefiting a little bit more with that on your back?
Absolutely. A lot of people, it was the talk of the town for a little bit because Team Velocity is also known as a solely sparring team. So
Mhm.
it wasn't very common for a formed competitor to be on Team Velocity. So in the end, it can give you good promotion or bad promotion. People can say, oh, she's on Team Velocity. What is a CMX person doing on there? Or people can say, you know what, this is a new era for Team Velocity, picking up CMX people. I competed in California,
Mhm.
my first NASCA tournament for Team Velocity. It went really well. And also Rhode Island. A lot of people were giving me congrats. Lots of judges saw that I had Team Velocity. And, I believe that my good scores are from my talent as well. But, you see Team Velocity and you know that this person is going to pack a punch.
That's great. Now, newly turned 18, also in school, for everybody watching, in terms of scheduling, Francesca, before today, had a very packed schedule between school and then also teaching classes. So tell me a little bit more about you juggling everything that you do.
So honestly, it is pretty hard, but keeping a schedule or like an agenda is one of the best ideas that I've had so far. I recently just committed to FIU, Florida International University, for a double major, criminology and psychology.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I've been, trying to do everything for FIU, getting my schedule done. I also teach 4 times out of the week at Premier Martial Arts. I am the head instructor over there. So I do have to play on that one as well. And I also have all of my AP exams and my finals coming up. So honestly, it's just about time management. If you got to stay up late and, finish homework then that's what you got to do. And thankful enough, my instructors trust me to be at the karate school until late. So sometimes you got to do late trainings, at 11, 12 at night just to make sure you get stuff done.
Now, if something has to give in the things that you do, what is it?
Oh, that's a hard one. If I have to pick like schoolwork or martial arts, my instructor always told me martial arts comes first. So sometimes if I got to train like, in the afternoon, and it's whether homework or martial arts, I'd rather pick up a training, have a good training session. And that adrenaline from that training session will help me carry on through the night and just drink a coffee and finish some homework when I'm, at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. It's fine.
Okay, so it doesn't necessarily give, but in terms of priorities.
Yeah, priorities, it's like a half and half. I want to say school. School is just finishing. So I've been prioritizing martial arts more just
Mhm.
because I am almost done with school. But I know once I start heading into college, I'm going to have to start picking up college as more as a priority than martial arts, which really sucks.
So a double major in criminology and psychology, your schedule and course load is likely going to be packed. How do you anticipate or foresee yourself continuing with competition as well as teaching?
So I see a lot of people, for example, I have to give my hat off to Miss Haley Glass. She is able to carry everything. I see that she's, up at UF. She's working on her, I believe she wants to be a doctor of some sort, and she's able to compete at every single tournament. I've seen her at every single NASCAR tournament this year. So I might have to go ahead and ask her how she handles her schedule. But I do
Mhm.
plan to still compete and maybe just have to start picking up more workloads of school, just managing whether I do it early in the morning, late at night. But just I always got to make sure that I have time for martial arts.
Okay. All right. And your long-term goals in martial arts, what are they?
You know, I've always wanted to open up my own martial arts school, especially under the Premier Martial Arts franchise.
Mhm.
I've been blessed to have such an amazing instructor, master assessor, who has opened so many doors for me and opportunities. Um, so his dream was always to have me open up a school, and that would also be a dream too, to have my own school on the side, and still working on my major and still having a job in criminology would to be balanced both, and also a NASCA world title would be great on my back as well.
Okay. It sounds like you're in it for the long haul in terms of martial arts.
Absolutely, martial arts has played a big role in my life, whether it's the physical aspect or the mental aspect. So I owe it all to martial arts.
Okay. Well, this has been a great interview, Francesca. Thank you so much for coming on the Power Chat series. And for everybody watching, thank you for listening to just a fraction of Francesca's story.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys having me on.
Of course. Now, Francesca, what's your next tournament?
Next tournament, I believe it's Battle of Atlanta. I just follow the NASCA schedule. I believe Quebec was canceled.
Okay.
But Battle of Atlanta should be the next tournament, or any local tournament that's going on. I'll always be ready to compete.
Okay. Well, good luck at your next tournament, Battle of Atlanta, or anyone earlier than that. And again, everybody, thank you so much for watching the Power Chat series.
Thank you.